Everyone. As usual, I'm going to wait a few minutes for everybody to hop on here, and I'm going to invite everybody, or I'm going to welcome everybody who's watching this on the replay. And yes, invite you to join us as we explore the energies and the themes of September, as well as the 9/9 portal, which is occurring on and around 9/9, September 9th, 2024. This is a really beautiful time period, especially as we're moving through these beginning couple weeks of September. We have a lot of cleansing, purifying energies. The 9 energy is an energy of closure. It's an energy of wrapping things up. So we're working with endings and yes, new beginnings here, because every ending begets a new beginning, right? Every door when any door closes, another one opens. Creation and destruction, all of these things. So it's a really beautiful time for closeouts, and the astrology is really supporting us in this as we just moved through that new moon in Virgo and we're moving toward that eclipse in Pisces. It's going to be really, really powerful. We have Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in that final anaretic degree of Pisces, really assisting us with closing out these major soul lessons and themes so that we can continue to merge forward onto that new timeline. We have that beautiful minor grand trine going on that we talked about in the last live stream between Uranus and Taurus, Pluto in Capricorn, and of course Neptune in Pisces. So that's a big, big collective clearing right there that we are experiencing. We also, of course, have Yeshua's true birthday on 9/11. So moving us through this continuum from the 9/9 energies to that day of great beauty. Hello, Amber. Yes, absolutely. Major, major change, major shifts. Remember, 2024 is a quantum leap year. We are quantum leaping through timelines and consciousness. So I think the next 3 months are going to be, did I say 3? September, October, November. Makes sense, right? At least definitely for those of us in America. The next 3 months, right, moving us into November, but really the next 4 months, right, because we're looking at December as well for the closeout of the Muggle year, as we call it, the Gregorian calendar year. So lots shifting. We have these final pieces coming into place to really move us onto whatever particular timeline for ascension we're going to experience collectively as well as individually. So I thought for today that we were going to mostly just use the cards and see what messages come through, see what else gets channeled through regarding these energies. I do have the chart pulled up next to me for the 9/9 just to get a look at the energies that are going on there. But we're familiar with these to a point because we've started talking about these. We started talking about them in the new moon in Virgo video when we were discussing these general themes that are going to carry us through eclipse season. We have that beautiful Pisces lunar eclipse on the 17th, 18th, depending on where people are in the world. And then we also have the solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd. And so working with a lot of these really powerful themes, I'm seeing, of course, the first thing that I was drawn to in the chart regarding the 9/9 energies and that particular day is still this powerful stellium that we have in Libra here with Venus, Black Moon, Lilith, Juno, the South Node, and that opposition there to the energies. And it's becoming more oppositional as we continue to move past the new moon here, where we're getting into a closer opposition with Chiron in the sign of Aries, conjunct, of course, Eris. So clearing out a lot of these themes and energies, these old relationship templates, right? Especially where it comes to the energy and the gender roles surrounding the feminine. Clearing out a lot of that, really stepping into this higher evolution of our energy, this energy that is moving out of the energy of competition, moving out of the energy of looking at me versus you, me versus the world, and really coming together in a unified energy that lifts each other up. So that's a big theme as well. And anywhere where we have felt betrayed, anywhere where we have felt as though we were left out, we were not included, which is basically another way of saying left out, but you know what I mean? Healing those wounds as well, and any of the wounds surrounding the ways that society did not allow us or has not allowed us to be who we are and to stand in our truth and in our power for whatever reason, right? We see that with the Libra energy. That is a very society-driven, partnership-driven, really relational-driven energy here. So really big stuff with that going on. And of course, Saturn in Pisces, always wanting to be part of the conversation right now, is in an almost, it's a 2-degree off, but it's a very close opposition to the Sun in Virgo during the 9/9 specifically. But we're feeling these energies, we're feeling these tensions as we move throughout with these Pisces Virgo themes and these Aries Libra themes. So it's a pretty interesting time, and it's really beautiful, I think, as we're moving toward the end of this journey through the nodes in the sides of Aries and Libra, to be completing this energy and really having a showdown, if you will, regarding this energy of the self and the other, finding the balance of that. I look at the axis of Aries and Libra as the axis of identity, because we're really finding our identity. In Aries, it's through the actions that we take. It's through that self-initiation. And with Libra, we're understanding our identity through our relations to other people and what it is that they teach us and mirror back to us about ourselves. A lot of times it's also with Libra ruling that 7th house, which is the descendant. There is this energy here of looking for what exists within us in other people. This is a lot of what we do before we realize that these qualities that we desire actually exist within us the whole time. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Jessica. Yes, September is feeling really beautiful. Yeah, August was a month, you guys. It was a month. There were some really beautiful energies in there with the Lionsgate. We really started that cleansing and purifying energy that we're continuing into with September. In the month of August, there was so much, all the lightning and the thunderstorms that we had in my little corner of the world here, like you could feel the earth and the energy purifying itself. And so now we're moving through a deeper level of that, but we've had that initial cleansing and clearing out. Of course, during eclipse season, we're always doing more of that, particularly when we come to the lunar eclipse. So we're going to continue to go through those energies, those purifying, those cleansing. Self-care is a big theme right now as we move through September, working with the self-critic. And by working with, I mean like gently suggesting more supportive self-talk, right? Noticing where it is that we're being hard on ourselves, where it is that we're being hard on other people, and giving ourselves a little bit of grace. If nothing else, I think that that's a big thing that Spirit wants us to focus on, is this month, give yourself some grace, all right? Because we're going through a lot. We're shifting, we're changing a lot. Our outer realities may be erupting into chaos for some people, because many are being aligned with their higher timelines. And sometimes that looks like chaos, right? Because there's so much that's shifting and changing. It was like the collective reading that I did, that I just posted from the other day, where the portion of the collective that I was talking to for that reading, it was like their old timeline was literally booting them out. So that's happening for a lot of people. We can see the world in chaos. And so it's like, give yourself some grace, give yourself that space, and really support yourself with as much self-care as you can in all the different ways that you can. Develop those healthy habits and routines. Excuse me. Yeah. Yep. Teresa agrees. Yep. Lunar eclipse will be in your 4th house. Do I think you'll move? I mean, that is one generic interpretation, I guess we could say. And it's certainly not one that is off base sometimes. I mean, that's a possibility with those energies. The 4th house, I'm a 4th house person, which means that I have strong placements in the 4th house. And so the 4th house is a house that I've looked into pretty extensively. And I think that there's a lot within that. So this could also be shifts within any type of family situation, home situation. This could also be changes relating to your parents. This could be healing from childhood trauma. This could be just deciding that you need, there's definitely a call with the eclipse happening in the 4th house for a clearing of your home space, making sure that it is a safe, sacred space and container for you, and healing from anywhere in your life where that may have not been the case. The 4th house also, on a deeper level, it represents the bedrock of our soul. That's how I see it. This is the deepest, think of the moon energy. This is the deepest part of ourselves, the most personal aspect of who we are, that not everybody gets to see, right? So with the 4th house energies here, it could be a major shift in change within your internal and most private world. And so maybe other people may not see the change that's happening there, but it will be most likely deep and profound, especially if you have planets there being aspected in the 4th house. Pluto, Mars, and Virgo in the 4th house. Ooh, yeah. Pluto. I'm a Pluto 4th house myself. That's an intense placement for Pluto being in the 4th house. Absolutely. There's always transformation. I found that Pluto in the 4th house people are very similar to 8th house people in many respects. Like there's like we said, the bedrock, the core of who we are on a soul level is the Phoenix. It is that change and transformation. And so it's like 4th house Pluto people, we're very deep, right? We're very emotional. We can be very volatile, but we don't necessarily always show it, right? People don't necessarily always know. And so there's a lot of intensity, personal intensity that comes with that, that's oftentimes bubbling under the surface. And there's a lot more to that placement, but that's what we're going to get into specifically there today, especially with Mars and Pluto there. That's intense. That's really, that's very intense. Yeah. Pisces in the 4th. Ooh, nice. So I love that. Well, that makes sense with the eclipse happening there in the 4th house. Hello. By the way, I think I saw Tide jump on there. Janoy, I love that. Janoy, Lena, welcome. All right. What are we going to do? Let's get into this, you guys. I've been feeling called to my Black Moon astrology deck. So I think we're going to use that. You have natal Pluto and your midheaven and the fixed star Regulus opposing the 4th. Ooh. Regulus is powerful, powerful star. I've been working a lot with the stars lately. I've been, I can see a couple of the very well-known stars that house some of our beautiful ET populations in my backyard lately, and I've been working with them a lot. It was really funny. I thought that they were ships at first, and they would start dancing for me in the sky, and we were having all these beautiful interactions. And then I took out my star map and I realized that they were actually fixed stars that are known to be sort of homes for some of our beautiful brothers and sisters in the stars. And it just like really tickled me. I was like, oh, that's even better. That makes perfect sense. Regulus wasn't one of them, but Regulus is a very, very beautiful and powerful star. And I think it's really great when we can start incorporating the fixed stars into our interpretations and understandings, especially there's some that are very predominant and very pronounced. I mean, there are so many fixed stars, and honestly, you have to use your intuition a little bit with it, because there's a lot of old school interpretations that say like this star is negative and this star is positive. And we know that duality exists within everything. There's a balance within everything. Nothing is only one thing. So when you use fixed stars in interpretation, you want to give some grace to that and really feel into, for instance, we talked a lot about Algol recently because we had that powerful conjunction with Mars and Uranus conjunct the star Algol, which is known to be the most malevolent star in the heavens, right? Medusa's eye. And that star is incredibly powerful. And when we tap into the higher vibration of that energy, it is really one of the most powerful stars in the heavens, right? So that's a great example of that energy. And we really need to be looking at that and understanding and working with that, understanding that everything has a higher vibration as well as a lower vibration. When we have things going on like Chiron and Eris conjunct in the sign of Aries, opposing the stellium and Libra as we move through the 9-9. And I think the eclipse too. I've looked at the eclipse chart a little bit. I haven't looked at it super, super deeply and really done the analysis of it yet, except for what I needed to know and understand so we could do the new moon video. But I do dare say, if I remember correctly, I believe that stellium is still going to be active. And so that conjunction with Chiron and Eris and Aries is really intense. That's where we're working through these themes of ill will toward others, right? The deepest wounds that make us want to lash out, that make us want to see others fail, right? It's that dark diabolical energy, but it was created by a wound. And when we can heal that, we can become the greatest champions of others. We can really learn how to lift other people up. We can really learn how to be happy for the success of other people, which in turn only brings forward more success for us, right? Because we're in that positive trajectory of energy. So really working with that, always understanding that there's a higher vibration of every energy that we're working with. So that's the ultimate goal, is to tap into that. And with some energies, it's more challenging, right? Some energies such as Eris, even to an extent Black Moon Lilith, like it requires more of us to show up and work with that energy in a way that allows that higher vibration to shine through. But it is absolutely possible and probable for most people on here, right? Because we are on a journey of self-discovery. We are on a journey of self-awareness. Hello, Plune. Sun and North Node in the 4th house. There you go. Ooh, Pisces. Yep. Very nice. Yeah, I have my South Node conjunct Pluto in the 4th house. Talk about some karma, right? We're working through it, though. We're working through it, you all. Oh, wow. Black Moon Lilith. I love Black Moon Lilith. I am a Black Moon Lilith girl, though. She is conjunct my Venus and clear, pretty prominent in my chart. So I'm very fond of her energy in the 10th house, the midheaven. Within the sign of Aries, that definitely indicates that there is clear something powerful that you are meant to do with that energy, the empowerment of that energy, because right, so the lower vibration of Black Moon Lilith and Aries would be similar to Eris energy, right? It would be really that energy of being aggressive towards people, of highly competitive, needing to prove that we're the best because of wounds in the past where we were not able to exert our will, exert our power, right? So there's a big struggle of energy there. So it's bringing that energy into its higher vibration. It's very similar, honestly, to what we just discussed about moving Eris and Aries to her highest vibration. Would be similar. Some people consider Eris to be a higher octave of Black Moon Lilith. I don't know necessarily if I fully resonate with a higher octave, but definitely it almost feels to me like if we're talking about the oversoul, the higher self, and then we're talking about the fractals of the higher self, like those would be two different fractals of that same oversoul or higher self type of an energy, that same archetypical energy, just sort of showing up in slightly different ways. So it's really empowering, working to empower, especially with Black Moon Lilith. This is the feminine, right? So working to empower the feminine, or the feminine within all of us, right? Because all masculines have feminine as well, and vice versa. So working with the empowerment of that energy, as opposed to like the lower, more scorpionic type of energies, Mars type energies of that. Instead of fighting, it's like channeling that into fighting for something that is worth fighting for, particularly around women's rights or women's freedom, or liberating the feminine energy. That would be my first thought there. Clear. Oh, Jamie, your North Node is in Aries in the 8th, Lilith in the 10th, another Lilith in the 10th there. Yeah, my Lilith's in the 11th. I love that, though. I've been reading, so I'm reading a book right now on the 8th and 12th houses, Phoenixes and Angels, and it's really interesting. It's just 8th house people are powerful, powerful people, you know, and 8th house people, this would also be people with very strong Pluto in their chart, strong Scorpio. Oh, you guys, we got some powerful people in here. I mean, anything's possible, Plune. Yeah. Spiritual war, I feel in the higher self. Absolutely. Absolutely. Spiritual warrior energy there. I miss you too, Jamie. I love you so much. I do. I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah, Pluto and Scorpio in the 8th. Boom. There we go. That's the ultimate Scorpio energy right there. The ultimate Pluto energy. Pluto in its sign, in its house. You are all 8th house, baby. You are Plutonic to the core. All right, let's see. What does Spirit want us to know about the themes and energies as we're moving through the 9-9? Speaking of, we have the Grand Cross and the Pluto card coming out. All right. It's not a coincidence that Pluto is my favorite planet. It's so powerful. I love it truly deeply. I think you can tell a lot about a person by what their favorite planet is, or what planet they feel most connected to. I just working with this, and right now Pluto's energy is so concentrated and powerful because Pluto is sitting at that final anaretic degree, that 29th degree of Capricorn, for the last time in our lifetime. Perhaps, right? As we move through the ascension process, the whole aging process becomes different. Like, we may live for thousands of years, you know, and that may mean something different when we reach a different level of consciousness, right? So from this linear 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional perception right now, it would be the last time we're going to see it in our lifetime, because Pluto takes over 200 years. It's like 240 something years to go through the zodiac, I do believe. It's a lot. So this is a big, big energy. This is that journey that we began back in 2008 when Pluto first entered the sign of Capricorn. We are tying up those loose ends. So perfect as we're in this 9-9, this September energy of closures, that we are working with this energy of really closing this out, really stepping into our inner authority. This is those final secrets, those truths coming out relating to authority, relating to power structures, all right, relating to the way that society is sort of built and structured. So I think it's going to be really fascinating to see what further truths are unveiled, and also who is able to discern those truths, because not all of those truths, just because we say truth is going to be revealed, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to recognize it. All right. Sometimes it's revealed, but you have to have the proper perspective, the proper mindset to be able to perceive it. So truth will be revealed and available to those who are ready to see it. And to some extent, I feel like for those who aren't, some of these truths are going to be, it's going to be obvious. And the only way that some of these truths that are going to be revealed as Pluto finishes this energy in Capricorn here, it's going to be like straight up denial, deep denial and refusal to see is the only way that some of these truths are going to be, people are going to not be able to understand this. Other ones are going to be more subtle, right? There's different layers of this. But with the Grand Cross, the provoker energy, it feels like some of this is going to be like in your face type of an energy, like whatever is going on. And this isn't just talking about secrets, like this is talking about our process in general here. As we're moving through September, it's a powerful awakening. We're going to have crises, right? This is a big theme of 8th house energy as well, crisis, right? There are going to be situations that push us into this next level of transformation. So there's going to be a lot of intensity for some. And I know that there are people watching this who are like, dude, I just feel like I came out of the storm. Like, what do you mean I'm going back into it? But like Pluto really wants to make sure that we have learned what we were meant to learn from this cycle, that we have grown in all the ways that we desire to grow, both as a collective and individually. All right, to be able to step into that next level of power and authority. So it's going to be really fascinating to see. Just know that whatever crises you are going through this month, wherever it is that you feel like the odds are stacked against you, this is the energy that is pushing you deeper into this transformation. We have part of fortune increase on the bottom of the deck. So this is all for your benefit. This is all for your greatest fulfillment. Something that I'm being reminded of right now is that energy of be careful what you wish for. All right? Because you just might get it. And I'm not saying don't wish for healing. We have Chiron healing on the bottom of the deck. And then we have the Aries energy too, right? Chiron and Aries. Isn't that interesting? All right. But there's this energy here of like, we asked for healing and we're receiving it. We asked to be aligned with that highest timeline, and that's what's happening, right? We asked for a solution and we're getting it, but it's probably not going to look like what we thought it would look like. It's reminding me of the quote, right? Like, you can't fix a problem with the same mind that created it. So in this scenario, we are the mind that created the problem, right? Because we manifest our reality through our belief systems, through our perceptions, through our thoughts, through our words, and of course our actions. So it's like we are the mind that created the problem, whether we want to admit it or not. Now we're calling in a higher force to come and shift that energy for us. And that energy it's not meant to be gentle. It's not going to be gentle right now. Pluto is not gentle. Pluto is only concerned with evolution. That's it. Just like our soul, right? We think on this level, like when we think about our souls, it's this beautiful, gentle, divine being. And our souls are that. But our souls also realize that we are just playing a role. This is all a simulation. This is all like it's real in the sense that we can feel it, we can touch it, we are experiencing it, but it's not in a greater sense as well, right? It's both real and an illusion at the same time, right? The paradoxes of the universe and the reality, right? So our soul sees that this is just a tiny little speck in the infinity of our experiences. So our soul doesn't take it easy on us, all right? And some of our souls in some lifetimes do. Dolores Cannon talks about this, how some lifetimes are resting lifetimes for people where they're healing and they're recuperating from very difficult previous lives. And some, especially for my 8th house people, for my Pluto people, for my Scorpio people, you did not choose a resting life. All right. Very few people who are present on this earth right now chose a resting life in this lifetime, because this is not the time to rest. These are the final years of ascension. All right. In this process, this is crunch time, you guys. All right. So it's not about resting. It's about evolving. And if your soul chose to come here and evolve, it's not going to take it easy on you. Right. Your soul knew that you were going to struggle when you got into this, right? That they were going to, right? Because your soul is you, your higher self is you, right? But it knew that it was worth it. And so Pluto energy is the same way. Pluto represents the evolutionary impulses of our soul over many lifetimes. So like Pluto's like, no, we came here to do this. We came here to change. We came here to evolve. We came here to be the phoenix. The phoenix must burn before it rises. All right. So this is what's going on for a lot of us, but just know it's pushing us toward our greatest fulfillment and happiness. All right. So we have to trust this process, and we have to just show up as best we can in every moment. With this Chiron energy here, there's a lot of healing going on right now. All right, a lot of deep wounds that are going to be revealed so that the healing can occur. And around this Aries energy, Chiron particularly, with the fact that we got Chiron and Aries here, and Chiron is in Aries opposing the stellium here that we've been talking about, there's definitely a lot, like look for where Chiron is in your chart, which would be where Aries is, the later degrees of Aries. This is where Chiron and Eris are right now, and there's a lot of change and transformation happening. This is, once again, us stepping into our power, into our authority. Taking our will back, taking our sovereignty back. Learning how to wield our masculine energy in a balanced way, right? Checking the comments for a minute here. Uranus, Venus, and North Node in the 8th. Ooh, baby. And hello, Ka. Yep. Yes, Jamie. That is going to be the first retreat that we do as Mount Shasta. I'm really looking forward to that. I am within the next couple of years. You're like reading my mind right now. That's what I'm thinking. Absolutely. Although I'm also thinking Egypt 2027, that's when we're going to be having that powerful solar eclipse. If you guys didn't watch the video I did on the 2027 and 2034 eclipses, check that one out. It's like, if you just scroll down the recent videos, it's not that far down. It's a little ways down, but it's not too far. That is going to be powerful. That is the final closing eclipses to the set that we had with the 2017 and 2024 total solar eclipses. The April 8th one, of course, being the most infamous that we just had within America. Those are the sister eclipses to that. So I'm also feeling that energy maybe for some of us, but also, yes, absolutely Mount Shasta. Oh, it's so funny that you asked that question, Teresa, about the 9-9 bringing gifts from Pluto transiting your second house. So underneath the Chiron Aries energy, we have the second house energy, which is the energy of abundance. And that is actually something, I forget who it was. I haven't been watching a ton of astrology videos lately, but I think I saw somebody who does show up in my feed. It's lady, I can't pronounce her last name. She's Eastern European, Russian maybe, Duncheva. She's amazing. And I think it was either her or Molly McCord that said something about the gifts that Pluto's bringing. Because it is, we have moved through a powerful completion of energy here since 2008, right? A 16-year cycle. There are many people on this channel who found this channel through that video that I did on this closing out of this cycle of Pluto. And the full moon, I forget which newer full moon that was occurring during that time. Okay, so this is huge. And this is Pluto and Capricorn, right? So this is slow and steady, pushing forwards, moving forward type energy. All right, we've had to put a lot of consistent effort into the growth and the transformation that has been occurring. So we can see this with this Grand Cross here as like that final push. It's almost like if we've been trudging toward the finish line, like if we've been walking a marathon, right? And we're literally, our feet are about to give out on us. We're like, I don't think I have the energy to make it across. And Pluto just comes and shoves us across that finish line. That's kind of what this Grand Cross provoker energy, it's like that final crisis, that final test, that final push that allows for that final bit of transformation, which really pushes us into our sovereignty and helps us to accomplish whatever it is that this Pluto transit through Capricorn has been assisting us with. And we're going to see this in whatever house or houses Capricorn rules in our charts. Yes, Lady Duncheva, that's right. Yeah, she's phenomenal. I love her. I really, really enjoy her. Along with, of course, Nadia and Molly. Those are my ladies, my astrology ladies. Let's see. Sun sign on 1123 Fibonacci numbers. Love it. Love it. Yes, the 13th zodiac sign. And it's interesting, right? Because we look at the number 1213 and how that repeats throughout creation. So I love that energy. The way that I look at the 1213 is like there are 12, like if we're looking at DNA strands, if we're looking at dimensions within this particular universe, different things like this, there's 12 chakras, but the 12 unified create the 13. The 13th is the bringing together of all of that. So if we were to apply that to looking at the 13 zodiac signs, right? Ophiuchus, then that would be the sign that ties it all together, that brings it all together. Right? I don't particularly practice with it, but I do recognize the validity of that. Yes. Where am I from? I grew up in the New England area. Yeah. United States. Some people say that I have an accent and it doesn't fall within anywhere that I've been, or like it doesn't really make sense. I think it's some sort of weird past life accent. There are some people who used to think it was Australian, but I don't think I sound Australian. I'm not really sure. It's just one of those weird things, right? So I don't know if that was why you were asking. I know that I get that sometimes. People just really being like, where are you from? Where is that accent? And I'm like, I don't know. I just talk the way I talk, you know? So I think it's like maybe like a compilation of past lifetimes and the different dialects from all these past lifetimes, just kind of like coalescing, if you will. So yeah, it's like when we can heal, this is also a message for each and every one of us. When we can heal the confidence, whatever this wound is around our confidence, around our will, around our masculine energy, courage, right? Our ability to exert our will to take that, to take the risks, to take that action towards what we want. There's a lot of abundance waiting on the other side of that. It's like this final block, the healing that we're doing around this Aries energy right now, this Chiron and Aries energy, is really going to catapult us forward in terms of our physical world, physical material security, as well as our own. This is connected. The second house isn't just about our material world, right? This is also connected to how we value ourselves and the other things that we have value, what holds value to us, for us. And so it's that journey of self-love as well, of self-worth. You know what I mean? Clear. Hello from Switzerland, Helen. Or says Helen, not me. Hello to you. Oh, that's beautiful. I love seeing all of the international contingent here. We have Canada, right? Clear. So, hello, all my beautiful international people, as well as all my US people here. So happy to have everybody here this morning. I thought that that might be fun too, doing the live stream at an earlier time. Different people might be able to make it as well, you know, because I know what the time difference is in different places. Egypt. Oh, awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so we have Virgo and the fire element as I split the deck here. As we move through Virgo season, which of course it is right now, there's this powerful energy here. I feel like there is a deeper desire within us that is welling to the surface. There is some sort of passion that is rising within us. And that's sort of where the test comes in with this energy, right? It's like when that passion rises within you, are you willing to follow it where it wants to lead you? We're talking about like a spiritual fire within us being lit, right? We're talking about positive passions. If it's a passion that is detrimental or harmful to ourselves or others, then the test perhaps is like, can you find a way to shift that into a higher vibrational energy, right? And we're going to talk about this a little bit in the Master Your Mind Challenge. I have been really putting some time towards completing that procrastination. I'm a Taurus. It's a thing. We're going to be talking about that a little bit too, the shadow and the importance of understanding the shadow when we're working with the mastery of our minds and finding ways to fulfill the needs and desires of the shadow in a way that is positive, right? From the UP. What is the UP? Divine timing. Yep, always. Yes, yes. We got a big Cali contingent on here too. I love that. It's so funny. Like I lived in California very briefly, out in Los Angeles, very briefly. And I always wondered if I stayed out there, like what that might have looked like, because I definitely seem to, there's definitely a vibe that seems to like we have a lot of California peeps that tune in here. So there must be a connection of energy there. I'd be interested in what part. I moved to Southern California. I feel like Northern California or even like mid California would have been more probably the vibe and energy. Oh, Austin, Texas. Love that. Love that. Yes. Love my Texans. We got Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Nice. Los Angeles. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I lived in LA actually, briefly. It was like 4 or 5 months that I lived there. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. So we have the 11th house coming up, friends. There's a song that just popped into my head. It was something, I'm not sure what the song is, but it's something about a little help from my friends. So I feel like this is a time where we're going to be connecting or reconnecting with our soul family. I know for me, like I have had some members of my soul tribe who our timelines kind of went in different directions for a while, who are realigning. I'm realigning with them. And that's really, really beautiful. And that's something that does happen sometimes. It's like, it's so important for us to just stay on our timeline and allow people to kind of shift and change through their own journey. You know what I mean? Like if I had tried to veer off into a different story or timeline in order to meet somebody somewhere where I wasn't meant to be, then when they moved on to their next highest timeline, I would have been over here somewhere, right? But now we're able to all meet and converge together because we all had our own individual journeys, and we went through those, and we allowed each other to go through those initiations. And so it's been really beautiful seeing some of my soul fam coming back together here. So this is reunions of soul family. This is also new soul family coming in. This is also just people showing up in your life. This is like, I'm feeling it like the angels. The angels, the archangels, God, whatever you want to say, whatever words you want to use, labels you want to put on this, they show up through people. All right, so like you are being sent angels right now. So pay attention to the angels that are showing up in your life. Just when you need them the most is what it feels like. Oh yes, everybody on here, we are Soul Tribe. It's so beautiful how that happens. You know, how we've all just come together here. I love it so much. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, San Diego. I'll never forget. So I had family that lives out in San Diego. We're not super close, but I did visit them when I was on my way back. Actually, this was many, many years ago that I lived there. This was like 2014, I want to say, 2015, something like that. And yeah, 2015, I think. Or I don't know, end of 2014, beginning of 2015. And it was so, I don't know if any of you know Mike Dooley. He does like the Tut. He did the notes from the universe. So I used to get those emailed to me, and he was having a convention or whatever you want to call it at this hotel in San Diego. And so I went back and stayed with family, and I went to that, and it was really fun. That was my first time doing any type of thing like that. And we had a really, really good time. I met some really fun and interesting people. But I remember my family member, he was driving me around, and he was pointing out all these houses to me in San Diego. And he would say, like, that's $1 million house. That's $1 million house. That's $1 million house. And I'm looking around, and I was like, are you serious? Those look like shacks to me. I'm like, who's paying $1 million for that house? And that was back in like 2015. Those are probably like $3 million houses now. You know what I mean? I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, it's location, 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 right? I think more and more of us, though, are wanting to move out of the heavily populated areas and just kind of like, there's a definite clearing of energy when we move out of those congested areas. I did that recently, and I really am enjoying, especially when the weather is nice, having more nature around me than people. Oh, did you, Jeanette? That's awesome. You moved to California in 2018. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so I was already gone by then. Like I said, it was brief. It was not a well thought out decision. There were a lot of, it was kind of like a spur of the moment. Like I just one day decided that's what I was going to do. I had a friend that lived out there, and I just decided I was going to move out there with her. And, there was not a lot of thought put into that decision. And it wasn't meant to be a permanent thing at that time, but it was definitely an eye-opening and an interesting experience. And that's really what we all are, right? We're collectors of experience. Me, having strong Sag placements as well, Sag and Gemini placements in my chart. I'm all about collecting that experience, like if it was an experience, great, like I'm there for it. We have the 8th house here on the bottom of the deck. Oh, interesting. And we have the 8th house with the 3rd house messages. So I'm feeling like people are going to be receiving a lot of psychic activation this month. It's kind of like a precursor, right? Because in October, as we move toward Samhain and all of that, there's a lot of that etheric energy. The veil gets very thin, but I feel like the veil is already very thin right now. And I feel like pay attention to the messages and the way the messages are being delivered to you. Particularly, this feels like I'm feeling passed on loved ones. I'm feeling ancestors and passed on loved ones here. Like there is somebody that you've lost, or perhaps that you never even met, who has a powerful message that they want to share with you. Let's see if we can feel into what this message is. It has to do with your roots. It has to do with your ancestry, your lineage. But it's not just your lineage in this lifetime. It's also like your star lineage. And there's there's no mistake that we were talking about Egypt earlier, right? Because you see there's a lot of references to ancient Egypt in these cards here. So this could have to do with a lifetime that you had in Egypt. This could also have to do with your star family and their connection to Egypt. The knowledge that you seek. Okay, so this is about a question that somebody asked. You wanted to know something. You wanted to know something about your heritage. You wanted to know something about past lives, perhaps. You're going to be given the guidance that's going to allow you to find the answers. Some of you guys might want to book an aura hypnosis healing session with me. That might be helpful for somebody, but it's like it's something with your ancestors though. It's like, I know I said that this is like your star lineage, but it's also something with your ancestry. You can trace something back in this lifetime here. They were very connected to the mystical, to the occult, to the stars. Some of you guys may literally want to go to Egypt. I know we were talking about that. We were talking about 2027, right? Some of you may physically want to go there. Or go there in meditation, go there in a dream. Something about connecting to your lineage or to Egypt, the energy of Egypt itself, whether through meditation, dream time, physical contact, is going to open you up to receiving the information that you've been asking for. The knowledge, the wisdom. It's going to unlock the codes within you. The dormant ascension codes, if you will. The dormant light codes that you carry. Some of you guys may, and you want to be careful, right? You want to be careful with anybody that you allow into your energy, right? You really want to vet these people, feel them out. But some of you may be feeling inspired to go to a medium. Some of you, this is what's unlocking within you. It's as these codes are unlocking within you, your psychic gifts are unlocking and activating as well. And these are gifts that are held within your lineage and are also connected to your oversoul, your higher self, through many lifetimes, incarnations, experiences that you've had. They're your gifts, right? So it's not like this is the first time you're touching them, but it's a hereditary, it's a lineage thing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Pay attention to all the different ways that your ancestors and your spirit guides and your higher self are wanting to communicate with you. Yeah, Saturn truth. There's a truth that they want to reveal to you. Maybe that's what you've been asking for. You've been asking for the truth in a situation. This is somebody specifically. You've wanted to know the truth. You feel like you're being lied to. And this is 8th house energy as well here, right? 8th house is the house of secrets. There's a truth that you are seeking. And it is going to be revealed to you. But it's going to come through your ancestors, through your lineage, through a passed on loved one, through this activation of your own psychic gifts. That's how you're going to discover this truth. And for some people, this truth is going to cause a major ending. in some chapter of your life. I opened it up to Venus, love. So it could be an ending when it comes to partnership. Libra was underneath that. Some of you, it could be like, some of you, this secret might have to do with somebody that you believe is being unfaithful, somebody that you believe betrayed you in some sense. Yeah. Clear. Interesting. Fifth house, creativity keeps wanting to pop out as well. House of children, dating, creative projects, hobbies, all the things that make life worth living. All right, there's something. How are we going to explore this here? All right, we're going to go with tarot for empaths, light workers, healers. This fifth house card. See this face here on the bottom? Sometimes when I pick up this card, it's like this face is like staring at me. It's a really strange face, isn't it? Oh, and this looks like the energy of see the masks? Right? This represents comedy and tragedy. But this is also like the mask. Somebody's wearing a mask. Clear. Tell me more about this secret. This truth that's being revealed. And in general right now, the universe is calling out who is aligned with us and who is not. We're really being shown that. Who benefits us and who doesn't. Who's in our corner and who isn't. Right? Who's aligned with us and who isn't. Leo energy with the fifth house. Could be a Leo for somebody. 29. And of course, 29 is, we talked about Regulus, right? The star Regulus. That's 29 degrees of Leo is where that's located. So that's interesting. All right. We've got the 8 of coins in reverse. Problematic perfectionism. Okay. I'm feeling something here with this. And 6 of wands in reverse, fall from grace. So I feel like somebody expected somebody to be perfect here. And they didn't live up to those expectations. Give me a little more on this. Is this an expectation that we had of ourselves, or that somebody had of us, or that we had of somebody else? This is kind of what I want to see here. Somebody's falling off a pedestal here. Whether they put themselves on this pedestal or whether somebody else put them on it. Oh, Regulus is now at 0 degrees of Virgo. Really? All right, we have the Queen of Wands in reverse and the Chariot in reverse. Interesting. So this is a real stalling of energy here. A real test of energy. It feels like test of commitment. One thing that is coming through right now as a message for people is be careful who you place on a pedestal. Be careful who you place above you, because no one is truly above you. And if somebody tries to tell you that they are above you, we want to be suspect of that, right? So that's one message here. There's an energy here also of like the challenges and setbacks that we're all experiencing right now, and how those are tests of our determination and dedication. Are we going to give up, or are we going to keep going? And if we fall short or somebody else falls short, how are we going to receive and react to that energy? And if somebody else had high expectations of us that we failed to meet, are we going to take that personally and internalize that? Or are we going to realize that that was their own, that's their own doing, that's their own energy. Those are their own projections to work through. We want to be careful that we're not projecting onto other people and that we're not allowing other people to project onto us. This also feels like somebody taking something personally, like if somebody had a recent fall from grace, if somebody was exposed as not being what they said they were, it almost feels like for somebody like being a fraud. Like, are you going to take that personally? Like, oh, I bought into that. And beat yourself up? Or are you just going to be like, okay, all right, I was deceived, but that's okay. The show goes on. You know what I mean? This person was not what they portrayed themselves as. So there is the question of like what within me allowed me to be hoodwinked in this way. Like we want to look at that, but like we don't want to beat ourselves up over it. This is how we learn discernment, by sometimes not noticing or not being able to pick on on the truth, and sometimes being able to, right? This is how we learn. So we are that much wiser the next time around. And for some people, there's a different message here too, which is like, if somebody shows that they are less than perfect, this is a message for somebody in relationship. If somebody shows you that they are less than perfect, this is sort of like, it's like when the honeymoon phase ends and we see the truth of somebody, right? Are we going to cut and run because they're not living up to the ideal that we had set for them? Or are we going to meet them where they're at and love them anyway? This doesn't mean accept toxic or abusive type of behaviors, right? But it means like if somebody's human and they show their humanness and we're holding them to a higher standard. Remember, we got Venus in Virgo. I do believe Venus is still in Virgo right now. No, Venus is in Libra, isn't she? Gonna pull my chart back up here. Yeah, Venus was. She's in Libra now. All right, so the sun, like, so we're still working with some of these themes. She was in Virgo recently, and we still have the sun in Virgo. Mercury will be entering Virgo on the 9/9, interestingly enough, right? So there is that energy here, you know, of being wary of how critical the standard that we hold others as well as ourselves to. We want that to be a realistic standard, you know. So if somebody shows you their humanness, they mess up in some way that is not necessarily catastrophic. It's not truly harmful in a way where you need to cut ties with them. Are you willing to forgive them? Are you willing to allow them their humanness? And for some of you, it's like, that's the question for somebody else when your humanness shines through. And for others, there's somebody who deliberately deceived in a way that was harmful in some context or way. And it's about now the need to break free, to cut ties with that person in order to maintain your own sovereignty, but also to be gentle with yourself. Like we said, if you didn't recognize this person for who they were until now, like you recognized it now. So it's all about what are you going to do with this now? All right, don't waste time beating yourself up about the past. Like, what are you going to do with this now? I think in the collective at large right now, we're going to see this energy a lot. Remember, Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn, with world leaders, with politicians, with big business, with all of these things. This fall from grace is happening. We're seeing the unexpected truths being revealed. Remember, we live in the inverted AI matrix. All right, it's the upside down world. The opposite is usually true. All right, so there's going to be a lot of falls from grace where that's concerned. I'm feeling spiritual teachers, spiritual leaders that are being exposed for not being what they claim to be. All right, and these are necessary. It's very necessary to have for these truths to be revealed, right? And it was necessary for us. And this is the thing too. It's like, maybe you learned something from someone. Maybe they weren't being 100% upfront honest about who they were. Maybe they were misrepresenting themselves. Maybe they were false light teachers. All right. And there were harmful aspects, but you also learned some things in that process about yourself and even the spiritual teachings, like even with false light teachers, right? The way that they achieve what they're achieving is by giving you 99% truth and 1% lies. All right. So maybe you still grew a lot from that 99% of truth. But now it's time to release them. It's time to cut ties and move on. Take back your energy. Take back your power. And for some people, this is like something that you were trying to achieve, something you were trying to accomplish, and it just hasn't been working out. There hasn't been momentum. It hasn't been moving. Like I said, in that specific scenario, it's about having that dedication to keep going anyway. I've been learning this a lot. I mean, like, as I've been working with different mentors recently and things like that, success is 99% determination and perseverance. It's continuing to show up and do the damn thing day after day after day. And we get better and we refine our skills over time. And we have to be willing to do things that push us outside of our comfort zone, that embarrass us. And sometimes we do fall on our face and sometimes people laugh. Sometimes it is funny, you know, like, and sometimes it's just because people are cruel, but you know what? It doesn't matter either way. All right. What other people think of me is none of my business. We talked about the soul tribe on here and how we've all been drawn to each other and into each other's energy, into each other's field, right? Those are the people that matter. If I do something stupid, you're still going to love me. There might be some people, you know, who have joined this tribe who don't, right? And they're just not really a resonating match to begin with. You know, the people that love you will always love you. If you are being, and even when you're not being your truest, most authentic self, a lot of times they'll love you anyway, right? Sometimes we got to love people from a distance, but that doesn't mean we stop loving them. And when we try something and it doesn't work out, like, the people that matter are still going to support us, you know? So this is about supporting yourself in your failures as well as your successes, knowing that the only true failure is when we stop trying, when we give up. Everything else is just another lesson. It's just every perceived failure, as long as we keep going and we keep trying, is just one more experience of wisdom gained. Right, so that we can become that much better next time. Remember, the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Right, so don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on other people. But do remove the people who truly need to be removed from your life, who are deliberately misleading you in ways that are harmful. Right? We have the Two of Coins, setting priorities here. It's a big energy for September as well. Setting priorities, setting those goals, creating those habits and routines, all 6th house Virgo energy. I would say, Rex, the question isn't so much, do you still love her? Right? Because you probably do. It's, can you forgive her? And then, of course, it's, what does that forgiveness look like? Because forgiving people doesn't necessarily mean letting them back in our lives. Forgiveness just means letting go of the pain, the anger, the resentment so that we can move forward with or without them. Yeah, that's rough. Yes, absolutely, Terry. And hello, Annika, by the way. I see you there. It's beautiful. All right, so we have the 3 of Coins under this tooth, building the foundation. Yeah, then we have the unexpected setbacks. So do not allow the setbacks to deter you. Keep moving forward, all right? This is a time of regrouping for a lot of people. For some, it is a time of licking our wounds. For some, there are going to be powerful initiations that are going to feel chaotic and crisis-like, right? Going back to that 8th house energy from the beginning of the reading. But it's all assisting us in reprioritizing what is really important to me. Where is the best and the most effective where are the best and most effective places to put my energy right now? What are my goals? What are my priorities? What is important and what am I aiming for? And do my actions align me with those goals? And do they reflect? Because remember, we can see what our priorities are in our lives by where we put our time, focus, energy, and our money a lot of times, right? So we don't have to wonder what our priorities are. Just look at your life. What do you do on a daily basis? What do you always do? Who do you talk to the most frequently, right? Who do you carve out that time for? What do you spend your money on? That's another really good one as well, right? Where do you show up? Where do you put the most of your energy, your attention, your intention? Those are your priorities. And so for each and every single one of us, we're being asked to look at that honestly and then decide, okay, so if that doesn't reflect where I want to go or what I want to do or who I want to be, to grow into, how can I shift those priorities? And how do I shift my priorities? By shifting where I put the majority of my attention, my intention. And yes, like we said, my money. So it's with all this Pentacles energy here. So it's about building the foundation that's going to lead to that future success. Definitely, especially with that friends card, a little help from my friends, that little message we got earlier is definitely collaboration energy for people. And then we have rewarded sacrifice with the Hanged Man here. So what this is saying is that as we prioritize, there are sacrifices that are going to need to be made because we can't be everywhere all at once, right? Like some fractal of our being is, right? And we are multidimensional beings, but in this particular reality that our consciousness is focused on right now, we can't be everywhere at once. This version of us only has so much energy to expend in so many directions. So there are things that are going to have to be sacrificed in order to have and accomplish the things that we want, in order to have the energy, the attention, the intention to be channeled in the avenues that are the most meaningful to us, right? And there's always an exchange of energy with anything, right? That's one of the laws of the universe talks about that, right? The exchange of energy. In order to gain something, something must be sacrificed. So, are your sacrifices worthy? Are you willing to make the sacrifices called for the things that you love, for the things that you want, for the things that have meaning to you? And this is another energy as we're working with that Virgo Pisces axis, the energy of service and sacrifice. If you are willing to, we're going to start seeing the rewards for those sacrifices that we've made. And on the bottom of the deck, we have death in reverse, resisted ending. Don't resist the endings. All right. It's pointless. The sun, right? The endings. That's what it's leading us to. The endings are leading us to new beginnings, like we said at the very beginning of this reading. If we are resisting the endings that want to happen for us, we're going to move ourselves out of alignment with our blessings. Right? So we don't want to do that. Clear. With this, all this closeout Pisces energy here, there are endings that we have been resisting for quite some time, probably many of us. And this could just be endings when it comes, not just, this is actually the most intense of all the endings, when it comes to a part of ourselves that is no longer resonates for us, that is no longer the truth of who we are, that needs to be released and let go. All right, some habit, some routine that no longer serves us. There's so many, yes, closing time. That's a good one. Yep, for this energy. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Although, honestly, really this process of allowing these endings it's the process of bringing us home to ourselves, right? To the next version of ourselves, the next evolution of our energy, our journey. Remember, the only consistent in life is change. If nature is not changing and evolving, something that is not growing and evolving and changing is dead. All right, so we have to allow for that change. It's the natural cycle of life. Especially in this intensified lifetime that we're living right now during this ascension of humanity, of this planet, right? We're living many, many lifetimes in one this time around. It was somebody, I believe it was one of the mentors that I've been working with recently. He told me that soul growth and evolution is slow, right? We can look at every lifetime that we have almost as like, I can't remember if he said a day or a year. I think he said like a year, but it doesn't really matter, right? Either way, you get the analogy in your life. So think about how much you changed from this year to last year. Or if we're looking at days from today to yesterday. And think about that. That's the gradual change over lifetimes. That's very much Pluto and Capricorn, that slow energy, right? But in this lifetime, as we move toward the ascension point, we've sped up that process. So instead of that gentle, gradual change that comes from lifetime, it's like snowballed into this giant avalanche of just wild energy and powerful shifts. Many of us, I think at this point, feel like we've lived many, many lifetimes in one, right? So just know that and understand that and embrace and be gentle with yourself during that journey, right? Because it's like soul evolution on steroids is what we're experiencing right now. And hello, Michael. Nice. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful, Amber. Yes, we got the Tower here too, and we got the Four of Pentacles. And this is holding on tight and painful transition. So this is something that my first mentor, Glenn, used to tell me all the time. It's the resistance that's painful. If we resist, if we hold on too tightly to what is being removed, if we try to hang on to that old timeline when we are being rerouted to the new one, that's when it's going to be painful. That's when this Tower energy is going to be painful. All right. It doesn't have to be. The transition does not have to be painful. It's all in how we perceive it, how we react to it, and how allowing we are, how willing we are to go with the flow. Yeah. And Aquarian quantum leap. Exactly, Teresa. That was the thing. Thank you for reminding me. The last thing that I was going to say here is Pluto's moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. Aquarius is the opposite energy of that slow, gradual Earth energy. Aquarius is the quantum leap energy. It's the Uranian energy. All right. Like that's what we're moving into as we enter this age of Aquarius, as Pluto begins his first clearing of the Aquarian energies and activation of these energies. It's picking up even more. All right. So we might have been dancing double time. Now we're going to be moving triple time. Okay. That's why we have to be so gentle with ourselves. That's why it's like, we don't need to rush ourselves because the energy is moving us along sufficiently enough. All right. So be patient with yourself, take care of yourself, give yourself grace, and be present as often as you can. That was the email that I just sent out to my email list was all about being here now, about presence. Spirit just keeps bringing me back to the importance of being present in this moment right now. This is the moment where everything exists, where every version of you exists, where your power exists. This is the moment where you learn, where your awareness grows and activates. When you're fully present, when you're fully aware, you don't miss a thing. All right, so that's the final message here is for all of us. Get out of our heads, get into our bodies, get into our hearts. Be mindful, be in the present moment as often as possible. If we find ourselves freaking out, getting anxious, feeling depressed, guaranteed we've been living in the past or the future. Bring yourself back into the present moment. All right. Thank you all for being present with me today. I love you all so much. I honor you. I respect you. I'll talk to you all very soon.